Nigel Farage is a charismatic man.
Britain is broken and Britain needs reform. Kemi Badenoch, you accused me of being dishonest. You had your chance to apologise. Well, the gloves are off. She hasn't harmed us. She's given us tens of thousands more members.
We will deport foreign criminals. I'm off to have lunch in a few weeks with the Prime Minister of Albania. I might book a very big plane and take a load with me. I'm not sure yet.
Reform is now the #1 political party. We're real and we have fun. We have a laugh. Boring, boring, boring.
You see how keen our supporters are? They even get tattooed. Not be bad.
Outside this hall this evening was an organisation called Antifa.
But is he a competent man? Do you remember the Liz Truss budget? A mini budget that was so successful that she only lasted 49 days as Prime Minister. Her tenure as Prime Minister was outlived by a lettuce. And that was because her budget destroyed the economy of the United Kingdom. But this is what Nigel Farage had to say about her budget. He said, "Today was the best Conservative budget since 1986. But what if Nigel Farage's support for Liz Truss was a sign of things to come? A dark omen of what he would be like as Prime Minister?
I have had enough of lectures from self-appointed champions of working people who want to shred our public service, level down workers' rights, crash the economy like Liz Truss. Politicians who lied to this country, unleashed chaos, and walked away after Brexit."
Now, the reason why Liz Truss's budget was such a disaster was because she massively cut taxation, but she didn't have a plan for where that money was going to come from. And then that caused the markets to panic. The people that lent the government money, they started to panic. And everything went crazy. Mortgage rates went crazy. Government debt went crazy. And the value of the pound tumbled through the floor. Nigel Farage's plans, he wants to cut taxes by £90 billion whilst increasing spending by £50 billion. Here's the worrying thing. The tax cuts that he wants to do are double what Liz Truss did, which means that his plans might be twice as devastating, twice as destructive, twice as alarming as the Liz Truss budget. Now, I want to say that the Reform says that they do have a plan, right? And this is important. Reform says that they do have a plan and they're going to cut spending in other ways to make up for that loss of money. But the Institute for Fiscal Studies has looked into it and they warned that the Reform Party's numbers do not add up. Nigel wants to do some interesting things. He wants to increase the tax-free allowance from £12,500 to £20,000, which would make us all wealthier, which is why it sounds so great. It's exactly the kind of thing you would say if you wanted to get elected. It's estimated to cost the UK £50 billion. Alongside that, he wants to cut corporation tax, and it sounds great in theory. He has one policy that is a little bit strange, and it's hard to wrap your head around. He wants to bring in a Britannia card, and now the Britannia card would cost £250k every 10 years. And it would be for very wealthy people from abroad, specifically from abroad. The idea is that they buy this card and then they don't have to pay tax on any foreign assets. You would think that this would be an idea to make the UK money, but actually Tax Policy Associates has estimated that it's going to cost the UK £34 billion over 5 years. Also that wealthy people from abroad can pay less tax. That seems very strange for a party that is supposedly anti-immigration. But the financial losses don't stop there. There's a predicted £2 billion loss from his plan to cut the two-child benefit cap. He wants to increase national defence spending by 3%. He plans to spend £17 billion more on the NHS per year. And these are all things that sound great. They sound great if you're trying to get elected. But what's the plan to pay for them? Here's the concerning thing. Let's say that Nigel Farage bankrupts Britain. We are doubly kind of screwed if that happens, because the Reform Party is not really a democratic party in the same way that most other ones are. You remember after Liz Truss's disaster, the Conservative Party basically said you get out, and they kicked her out. That can't really happen with Farage though. The way to remove Nigel Farage from the party is 50% of the Reform Party members would have to write to the chairman. Now, that is something that is realistically not going to happen. Can you imagine 50% of the Reform members themselves writing into the Conservative Party chairman to say that they want a new leader? So he might absolutely crash the UK economy, and then we would be stuck with him continuing to run the country into the ground. If that happened, I'm not saying it would, but if that did happen, we'd be a little bit stuck. So here's my prediction for what will happen if the Reform Party gets elected into power. Either number one, he will walk back on the promises that he has made, or number two, he will stick to them. And the first few months when he comes into office will be absolutely brutal. The entire country will be shocked by how quickly the economy can be destroyed by a single person.